Hi, I'm Kelly with citruscycles.ca. I'm here to bring you along on a trail ride test of the Bose Monster ES, which is a front suspension fat bike, Bosch mid-drive motor on it. We're going to start out on the pavement, and the fat bike might not be an obvious choice for a bike if you're mostly riding on pavement, but it's actually great if you're the type of person that wants stability and traction. So if you want to ride all year when it's wet and slippery or snowy or icy, these fat tires are great because they give you a lot of traction, a lot of stability, a lot of control, and so you really can ride in all conditions. The front RockShox Pluto and the lower tire pressure that I usually ride with these fat tires makes for a really cushy, soft ride. It's a lot of fun. And these Jumbo Jim tires are actually fairly quiet on pavement compared to some other fat bike tires that I've ridden on, so that's a plus. The noise you hear right now is the Bosch mid-drive because we're climbing a hill. Turn that off. There you can see it's there's some tire noise definitely, but not nearly as bad as some other fat bike tires. Coming up to a gate here. One of the great things about a fat e-bike is that you can go places where motorized vehicles aren't permitted, because when you've got a bike like this with the Bosch mid-drive, there's no throttle. It's pedal assist, it's class 1 e-bike, and so basically it's treated just like a bicycle. Anywhere you can go with a bicycle, you can go with this bike, and so that's great because around here lots of awesome trails you can go exploring on, old logging roads and things like that, but a lot of times you're behind lock gates because they don't want motorized vehicles. And with the Monster ES here, I can go exploring. Alright, so we're coming up to some really loose gravel. You can see here it's quite chunky, and this is a good test. I find that although for the most part this is doable with a regular mountain bike, sometimes I can't quite make it up, not because it's steep, but because of all the loose gravel, and I end up spinning out. With these fat tires and with the Bosch CX drive, you can climb right up there. Give you a look back down. It doesn't look that steep in the video, of course. It never does. It's hard to get that sense of depth perception in the video. It's actually a fairly decent climb, and definitely on a regular bike would be a challenge. And with the lower air pressure in these tires, wasn't a problem at all. Going down, just go back down again. Doable on a regular mountain bike, a little bit dicey because it is quite loose, as you can see here, but with this bike you can go right over it, and it's not a problem at all. I'm not worried about losing control or making sure that I keep my speed up and stay in the straight line. I can slow down and wiggle around a bit and not worry about it. It's a nice fun trail with some roots on it, and you can see with this RockShox Pluto front suspension here, just float right over them. It's really, really nice ride. In fact, I ended up riding this bike like a wood full suspension bike because you've got so much tires that can absorb a lot of the bumps and shocks in that front suspension. It's really nice. Here we are on the Hydroline. Good example of the types of trails we have around here. Lots of big chunky rocks that are loose gravel. Makes it interesting. It's really easy to lose control, lose traction. But these fat tires are ideal for this type of condition. So if this is the type of trail you want to ride, this is a great bike for you. With that Bosch CX motor, boy, I can just climb right up virtually any hill. mud trail. I'm not sure what it was at one point. Forestry road, perhaps. But again, this is a good example of the types of trails that this bike excels at. What I find interesting is that the electric fat bike is actually a good alternative to a dirt bike or to a quad. For the most part, you're able to maintain the types of speeds that you would ride these trails at on a dirt bike or a quad. You're really not going to be able to safely go much faster than I am right now. But you've got the advantage of much less maintenance requirements and maintenance costs. You're not paying for gas. When I charge the battery, it costs 12 cents or something like that. So really low operating costs. Very little maintenance is required. Also way quieter. Much better for the environment, much better for health too. You don't have to worry about sparks if it's dry or something like that. Hello. Oh, thanks. Giving you easy access to a lot of trails. So you've got an awesome view coming out of here of the mountain around the course. Okay, another climb here. Really nothing I've been on so far you couldn't do with a mountain bike. What I find though with the fat bike, it's more comfortable, of course. It's almost like riding a full suspension bike. I can get faster speeds going down the hill because I'm not as concerned about choosing a line that's going to work, so that I'm trying to avoid some of the bigger boulders and stuff like that. With a fat bike, I can just fly right over. It certainly makes me more confident, especially in a descent, and it makes it more comfortable. Now there are a couple of hills that I've been able to manage to climb with this bike that I haven't been able to with a regular mountain bike. I had a bike with the Bosch performance line. It was 29 by 2.25 inch tires, and a combination of too steep, too slippery. Could never climb it, but when I got this bike, got the air pressure low enough on these 4-inch wide tires, and certainly the Bosch performance CX gives a lot more torque, a lot more power for hill climbing. So we're actually was able to ascend both of those hills on the bike, which was pretty impressive. Of course, everything helps. In addition to the fat tires and the Performance Line CX, this Bull's Monster ES has 11 speeds, and certainly that extra speed really helps for this hill climbing as well. And there we go. Alright, so now we'll begin the descent. It's a nice long ride down. And you'll see this is where the fat bike, the fat tires, that RockShox Bluto suspension is really nice on the front. Really cushy ride. We got a lot of big rocks and bumps on here, and we're just going to fly right over them. It's going to be a lot of fun. you'll see, here we had a bit of mud splatter there. Here we go. I'll wipe my glasses. Whew. Should have brought my fenders today. And if you do end up getting a fat bike, call or email us, and we've got some really nice front fender options to keep the mud out of your face. Alright, so it's hard to tell in the video here. I'll stop for a moment, try to give you an idea of this hill. It's actually pretty steep. I don't know if you can see way down there, going down to the bottom of the Holland Creek. And I have managed to actually climb this hill on this bike. I couldn't with any of the other bikes. You do have to pick the right line. There's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of boulders, a lot of loose stuff. So you have to make sure you've got some good lines with the traction. But with the CX drive, it is doable. This part isn't too bad. It's usually pretty manageable. It's the next section that's really tough. It's all the loose stuff. And fairly big loose stuff. As you can see, trying to pick my way through here. And some soft sandy type of stuff, and some slopes. Here we go. that last section is nice, smooth. Doable with pretty much any bike except for a road bike, but even some of the urban commuter bikes we have work really well on that. You just want to keep your speed down and watch for pedestrians. Get a bell, that always helps. A little more windy, a little more rocks. It is a fun section. Usually there's less people walking on here. Pine needles and leaves on this trail. When it gets wet, it does get slippery, and again, that's where a bike like this really comes through with loads of traction. Really not a concern on especially the wet pine needles. A hill bypass here. Probably could ride the stairs sometime. Give that a try. To the hydro substation here. Another good example of the types of terrain that a fat bike excels at. We've got very deep, very loose, very soft, chunky gravel. And you can see we just float right over it. It's no problem at all. Certainly doable with the mountain bike, but you want to keep a straight line and keep your speed up. Alright, this is a fun hill. Too bad there's a tree down halfway. I've got rid of it by now. Love about having hydraulic disc brakes and chunky tires like this. These jumbo gyms actually stop pretty quick if they need to. See what managed stairs, but those ones I think are a little deep. So I'll just take a shortcut here. Oops, should have removed my mirror first. There we go. Maybe your still intact. Awesome. Electric pack light with the Bosch mid-drive. I'm Kelly with citruscycles.ca. Check out our website for lots of other video reviews, including a complete overview of the Bulls Monster ES, beach gravel ride with it. And, if you have questions about e-bikes, there's a place to come to. Call or email. I'll be happy to help you out.